Positively Muskegon today, Andy O'Reilly along with Eric Grimm, who is in the hunt for the circuit. No, not circuit. You're running for
Probate Court Judge.
Now, I've had quite a few candidates come through, so to get them, you know.
I understand.
Tell me about Probate Court Judge. What is that job?
The job of Probate Court Judge is actually up in the air right now.
Okay.
We're going to have roughly $350,000 on salary and benefits spent every year on 2 probate court judges in Muskegon County that, as of January 1st, 2017, will do absolutely no probate law.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Back up just a little bit.
No probate law for that court. Now, is that going to change over time? Of course it's going to change over time. At least my impression is that Muskegon County is going more in the direction of Washtenaw County, which was kind of a pilot program statewide for how to do judicial assignments.
Okay.
So it's going to be less about the labels, circuit, probate, district, and more about serving the public and assigning roles and tasks to the judges based on who's best at serving the public in this particular capacity.
In this capacity.
Yeah.
Traditionally, probate judge. For somebody that, you know, limited experience with courts,
sure.
Thank God.
Right.
Not that I haven't had a brush or two, but talk about what a probate judge does as of today.
As of today, and again, that's going to change on January 1st.
That's fine.
We have one judge that does the full probate docket, and also handles the business court, which is contract cases with an amount in controversy over $25,000. The other one handles a family court docket principally.
Sure.
And family court is sort of the 800-pound gorilla in the courthouse. I mean, there are a lot of family court cases. Right now, if you look on the county website, they only have data and statistics up to about 2011, and they haven't been keeping it up to date since then. But you can see that in terms of caseload, there are a lot of cases in the family court, and there's a lot of staff there in order to help handle those cases. Initially, most family court cases go to referees, and then appeals go to the judges. But you need somebody there to be willing to give people a fair hearing if they decide that they need to take it to the judge.
Good thinking. What you've got a lot of experience as an attorney. Very, very polished attorney.
Well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, Andy.
How are you going to roll? How will that roll over into your judgeship should you win the seat?
Well, understand that I started out as an attorney. And I'm the only candidate out of the 5 that are running for this seat that has this kind of experience. Of course, you know that I was sort of raised as a kid back when I was growing up in Muskegon County.
Name in town,
it's not about the name though. It's about, you know, when I get to law school, I've already been familiar with the Socratic method for a long time. I encountered that before I even went to college. But after I graduated from law school, not every young attorney after they pass the bar gets to do this. But if you do pretty well in law school, you take a couple of years, earn a lot less money than somebody who just goes directly into a big law firm. But you get really good training as a judicial law clerk. And in my case, I both wrote opinions for the Texas Supreme Court that set precedent on a statewide basis.
Very cool.
And then I worked for a federal trial judge. The probate court would be a trial court rather than an appellate court. But I've seen both. And I've learned under the supervision of really good judges how to be a good judge.
Perfect.
And I think that's job relevant experience that makes it easier to hit the ground running on day one. No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead,
if you got a thought, share it.
Sure. Well, I mean, I've written down a whole bunch of thoughts.
I see that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we need to say August 2nd, 2016
Big day.
Is the primary. So that's when we narrow down the field of 5 candidates to 2 candidates. And that's pretty important. It's going to be on the nonpartisan ballot. So if you vote for elected representatives and partisan, you know, county commission, city races. Well, city is mostly nonpartisan too. We were both on the city council in Roosevelt Park, so we know one another from that. But you have to go down all the way down the ballot
Yep.
in order to vote for the judicial race.
Well, it's important. I mean, and that's what these are all about, is to get people out and familiar and out voting.
Right, and we want people to look at the qualifications of the candidates. We want them to look at what they've done with their careers. We want them to look at who's going to be a good judge.
Yep.
Now, so I get a lot of positive feedback. I also occasionally get negative feedback too.
It's part of life.
That is true. but I get told, well, you've got a big booming voice and you're tall and you're so smart, it's intimidating to people.
Yeah.
I've had Judge Kostrava tell me that. Okay,
I've never heard that I'm so smart.
It's like, oh, people are really intimidated by it. Well, it's not like I go out and try to do that.
Yep.
When I was young, I learned that, if you're one of the smart people, you're going to be bullied a little bit, and you got to hide it and try to pretend to be something that you're not.
Right.
And then gradually, as I grew up, what I found is, you are who you are.
That's it.
I mean, I can't choose how tall I am.
Mm-hmm.
I can't choose my abilities. It's better to look at this as a gift.
Sure.
And the most satisfying life isn't about doing things for me. It isn't about getting more money or more recognition or anything like that. The most rewarding life is service to other people.
Sure.
A really wise person, Socrates, is
Part of it.
is referred to in the Republic as saying, who willingly gets involved in sorting out other people's problems?
Sure. Tough.
I mean, that's part of what the job of an attorney is,
Yep.
is helping people sort out their problems. Even more so a judge.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to give both sides a fair hearing. You have to know a lot about human relations too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about the law, but following the law strictly is a really important part of the job too.
Sure.
And I've seen that not always happen here in Muskegon County. We need to step up our attention to making sure that the law and the right procedures always get followed.
Okay.
But again, you also need to understand the human aspect of every case and be able to listen compassionately to both sides.
Which you can do.
Exactly.
And you do. You've done.
You've seen me in action before.
Sure.
So I'm not, I usually don't come into any discussion saying I've already got the answer and let me tell you what it is.
Right.
Let's hear one another first, and let's try to come up, if possible, with a consensus and a solution to the issue. That's the most important skill that a judge has. It isn't being the guy with all the answers. It's being the guy that knows how to ask the right questions and to listen really carefully.
And that's something that people don't have anymore, is listening skills.
Some people do.
It's becoming a lost art. I mean, as I do interviews in and out, and I coach people on how to do this, I tell them that the biggest part of your interview is to listen to what they're talking about. And that goes, for radio or whatever, whatever I'm doing. So,
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Gotta listen.
And the more I learn that skill, the better I get at it, and the more satisfying it is. But the one thing that I've learned is it's never about the money. It's never about the recognition.
Yep.
Half of the people, when you make a decision in court, are going to be unhappy with your decision automatically. But I'll even give you some examples. I used to be the chair of the zoning board in Roosevelt. So occasionally we'd have hearings there, and occasionally I'd have to rule against our residents and say, no, you don't get a zoning variance. But you can ask any of them, and I'll give you names of people that we've had hearings on. Did you get a fair hearing? Even if the board ruled against you, did you get a fair hearing?
And they say yes.
When I was the chair, and absolutely.
Okay.
That's because you do need to give people their chance to let you know what they think about this issue.
Okay.
Even if they don't win, at least they got a fair hearing.
Perfect.
And that's important.
Very important as a judge.
Let's see. What else should I talk about? So let me give you some background on my experience. Now you know that I went to
it's your chance,
right? A very good law school, graduated with honors and all of that. So for almost the last decade, when one of the judges of Muskegon County gets sued, and it does happen from time to time, who's the lawyer who gets tasked with defending him?
I'm going to guess you.
I have been until relatively recently.
Okay.
Do you remember the Save a Waspy signs all over town?
Mm-hmm.
At the appellate court level, you probably didn't hear which lawyer it is that saved a Waspy.
No. That's you.
Guilty as charged.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of different things over time. I'm not what you might call a one-trick pony.
Okay.
It's important to understand that a judge doesn't just adjudicate cases. A judge also has to be involved in personnel decisions for the court,
sure.
Administering all the court staff. There's a big information technology procurement project going on right now. So having some background in software licensing and how not to have your governmental entity taken advantage of by your contractors, that's probably a good skill set to have in
sure.
there, making sure that we act in the taxpayer's best interest at all times.
Sure.
So I guess my main pitch for why to pick me rather than one of the other candidates, and they're all good friends, and I like them, wonderful people. There's nothing personal about this at all.
One thing that's been great about all of this is that everybody has kind of admitted that, you know what, we're all after the same thing for just maybe different reasons.
Right.
It's been a great way to introduce candidates to people.
I've had the opportunity practicing in other places than Muskegon County and also spending about half of my career principally practicing in Muskegon County to see the differences between how it's done elsewhere and how it's done here. That creates opportunities when we spot differences where things can be better to bring best practices back to Muskegon and to enhance the level of service to the community.
Perfect.
So that's the core of what I want to accomplish with this job.
Have you got all the stuff on the list?
No, I don't have all the stuff on the list.
Give me one more.
We'll get some more. Let's see. Well, I guess I can talk about the idea of equal justice under law, which is my, the slogan that I've been using, which is, I'm sure, familiar, but inclusion, diversity, non-discrimination has been a very important issue to me over the years, and you know that I've been very active
very much so,
promoting these issues. I mean, Muskegon area is still the 19th most segregated city in the United States. It's important to change that.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, you know that there's some controversy about when I was considering leaving the Muskegon area, largely in part of a very bad experience that I had with this particular court that I'm running to fix. You know that there was a little bit of controversy about the "Watch Us Go" slogan, right?
They must have kept that one kind of quiet. All right,
really?
but
no, it's all over the newspaper.
Okay,
right?
well,
right. So
we're kind of not the newspaper.
That's okay. And some people said, "Oh, well, you're just being negative about Muskegon," right? As opposed to being positive.
Okay.
Well, what I try to do is strike a balance, though. I mean, yes, there are people that say negative things in a sense that nothing can ever be fixed.
Right.
And then there are people that say really positive and upbeat things and perhaps overstate the case a little bit. What I try to do is, recognize the positive, also recognize where there's room for improvement, talk about the things where improvement can happen, and then use those as opportunities to create the kind of momentum that we want to see in the community.
Okay.
And I think that's a fair strategy.
Fair enough, yeah.
So, when I look at the slogan, I go, okay, so who's us? And that's up to us to say who us is.
Right.
Is us just the people who came up with the slogan? Is it us just the local municipalities and their leadership? Or is us everybody in the community?
Yeah.
And we have to answer that question collectively, and hopefully the way that we view us is we need everybody coming along on this trip, right?
Yeah.
Watching. Is this about watching, which is something that a spectator does, or is it actually about getting out there on the field and getting active in making things better in Muskegon County?
Well, I know this guy that went out and got himself a camera and started talking to everybody and their brother in Muskegon, So
exactly, right.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
So yeah, it's about more than just watching.
Yep.
It's about getting involved, getting off the bleachers, down on the field, and,
sure.
and trying to pull the community along. And then as far as go, what direction are we going in?
Right.
You know that I've had a difference of opinion with one of our fellow council members who says, I want to return things to the way things used to be.
Yep.
We're going to go backward. We're going to go back to the way things used to be. We want things to be more like Mayberry, for instance. I think that the direction for Muskegon County is we need to go forward.
Okay.
We need to focus on the future, not on the past. We need to focus on bringing the whole community together rather than separating people. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't include, I mentioned the issue of segregation mm-hmm. in the community, but it also includes religious diversity. Mm-hmm. And that's an important issue for me. That is something where I'm not going to be a traditional candidate. Traditionally in American politics, candidates pander on the basis of religion. What I'm about is Christians are welcome. I just went to the Sikh temple on Sunday. Had a great experience there. You need to go visit and check out the Sikh temple. Okay?
Not against it.
Unbelievers are welcome. Everybody's equal in the eyes of the law.
Sure.
Everybody needs to be treated equally and fairly. No, it's not like Animal Farm where all animals are equal and some are more equal than others. We need to have real equality and a welcoming, inclusive atmosphere in Muskegon County for everybody, and that's how we move forward.
Okay.
Any other questions from you?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Had a nice chat. We got to know you a little bit.
Awesome.
We weren't going to talk much about Eric because he said he didn't want to talk much, but you'll find the link to his website and everything that we've talked about here, right here on Positively Muskegon. Eric, wish you luck.
All right.
Hope you the best.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie.
Get out and vote. That's the message.
Okay, exactly. August 2nd is the primary. August 2nd.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.